What's up, guys? This is another video here on the final table of the high roller last night. This is actually a $530 buy-in tournament. However, I actually set a light into it for I can't remember if it was $40 or $50. This tournament paid 12 spots and we were in the money, and this is the final table. Rise and grind right here with pocket jacks on the small blind. The blinds are 1250 and 2500, and obviously, I have a lot of chips, 120,000 more or less, which is almost 50 big blinds, 48 big blinds. This actually was a really tough final table. This guy, Pocket00, is extremely good. Poker Mom right here is very good. Cross single that he likes. I mean, just a very, very, very well played final table. It was, you just had to be on it, and there were a lot of 3-betting, some 4-betting and all that, and you just had to be on it. And there's actually an interesting spot on how you would play Pocket Jack. So the hand starts this way, with Poker Mom min raising, which was very common to just do a 2x. And then the bottom here that he likes decides to 3x from the bottom to top 1,500. Notice that this is a little bit of a click back. I mean, it's not a big raise. It's nothing that necessarily commits him, and he can fold. So at this point we have a decision, and I think that's what you guys need to think about on this spot. What would you do? Now, this is not a cash game. This is a tournament. So, I thought about what would I do in a cash game. In a cash game, being that deep, I probably flat. I probably call. Just to try to flop a set, probably, knowing that there's a very decent chance that I'm beat pre-flop. In a tournament, however, with the table dynamics and 7-handed, and the money right now was at 1,450, and first place was 7,500. So I think that anybody's looking for any edge to try to pick up pots. This guy min raising, yeah, he could have a hand. This guy 3-betting from the bottom, he doesn't necessarily need to have a hand. He could just be making a bottom 3-bet, and I think that we need to find out. However, your options here are to fold, to 4-bet, or to call. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm gonna discard calling. I think calling right there is the worst option. I think that if I call here with pocket jacks out of position, okay, after the flop, most likely the big blind will fold. That would be my best guess if I had to guess. And most likely this guy will call, and I'm gonna go 3-way to the flop out of position. Now, if Poker Mom decides to 4-bet, and it almost doesn't matter what Daddy Likes does. If I were to flat and Poker Mom decides to 4-bet, and I mean, it would put me in a horrible spot anyway. So there's so many ways to look at it, so many dynamics. So calling is a bad option. I'm gonna discard it right away. Folding is an acceptable option, actually. I don't want to get involved. I got 1250 in. Let's just wait for a better spot. And actually, the other option would be to 4-bet right here. Right? We have a raise, we have a 3-bet, so we would 4-bet. Now, what do we 4-bet to? Well, we have to 4-bet to something that doesn't fully commit. It doesn't have to be that big. It can be a clickback. I can't remember exactly what we 4-bet to, actually. This is kind of interesting because it would allow me to think of something. If I had to think of something right off the top of my head right now, I would say something like 25,500, something like that. Let me see what we did. 22,500. Okay, we clicked it back to 22,500. Actually, this is really good because now I don't know that Poker Mom or the big blind can continue with the hand. So the goal was to get heads up or have him fold and pick up the pot. Okay, big blind folds, Poker Mom folds, and now I'm thinking in my head, okay, so what do I do? If he folds, great. What do I do if he flats? I'm gonna have to pretty much fire any flop, even if I don't hit a jack, even if an overcard comes out representing an overcard. What do I do if he shoves? And as it happens, he ends up shoving all in. And now I have to decide, okay, how many big blinds do I have if I call and I'm wrong? Okay, how much do I have to call extra to the money that I've already put in the pot? So it becomes very mathematical, and at the same time, kind of like, am I behind anyway? Does he have queens, kings, aces, or am I raising and he has like a hand like ace, king? And do I want to raise on this spot? So there's so many variables to this, and a lot of things that go through your head. After thinking a lot about it, actually, and again, I don't mind the 4-bet at all. I think that it was a fold or a 4-bet, and I decided to go with the 4-bet. I think after thinking too much about it, I actually decided to fold, and we gave him the pot, and we waited for a better spot. As it turns out, Daddy Likes ended up going bust. Craft Single ended up going bust. Circle Jerker ended up going bust, and Crazy Ducks ended up going bust. And it was 3-handed here, Pocket 00, Poker Mom, and us. And we ended up playing a big pot 3-handed against Pocket 00. We got it in pre-flop with Pocket Kings versus Ace 9, and Ace 9 from Pocket 00 ended up river in a straight. He ended up river in a wheel. And that was a way better spot. I don't know if we had the best hand or not. I mean, you have to start thinking, okay, is he doing this with Pocket 10s or Pocket 9s, which we can beat? More than not, he's doing this with 2 overcards like Ace King, or a hand that has us destroyed and we're drawing 2 outs. So I think at this spot, a fold is correct. I think a lot of people go with this hand, and even if they are not behind, even if they're flipping, they can easily lose that flip. And we had so many big blinds right here that we can definitely wait for a bigger spot, and we did. We waited for we actually had an amazing spot, and we ended up not winning that, but we put ourselves in an amazing situation. Had we won the hand between Kings and Ace 9 that we ended up going out 3-handed, we actually would have had the chip lead at that point. Anyway, this is a kind of like a close call that I wanted to share with you guys, that you guys can comment on. I don't know if there's actually a correct answer to this. I played the hand as best as I could. I definitely think calling preflop is the worst option. I do not want to play this hand out of position on a multi-pot, especially if Pokemon decides to flat. I don't want to do that. And I think 4-betting here was a correct option, and you don't want to 4-bet a lot that you feel pot committed. You can just click it back and find out the same exact information that I found out. Like let's say you make it like 37,000, and now you feel shit. I got 37,000 in there, and I have 80,000 behind, or something like that, and now I feel like I have to go. No, you don't have to. You can, you can bet fold, you can raise fold like I did, and still continue, in the tournament and wait for a better spot. Anyway, I hope that all made sense. Let's comment on this, and good luck at the tables. Okay.